Well, Takara Mitsumi says, Reverend Ed, what are your thoughts about the Idaho teacher who was forced to remove her inclusive sign from her classroom? I personally think it was because there were too many brown hands in the sign. Angry face. Well, I was going to talk about that next, actually, so let's just jump right into it. It wasn't one sign, it was two. She was approached by authorities in the school board. I think maybe even one of the principal and somebody from the school board, and they came to her and said, you need to take these down. And she said, why do I need to take these down? And she said, because they express an opinion and they're not necessarily, they're not approved by our policy. And she said, could you show me where in the policy it says that I can't put signs like this up? And they said, well, they didn't say anything. Here are the signs. That's the first sign. It says, in this room, everyone is welcomed, important, accepted, respected, encouraged, valued, and equal. It just rolls off the tongue. In this room, everyone is welcome, important, accepted, respected, encouraged, valued, and equal. Now, I'm going to do that one more time, and I want all of you at home to say it along with me. In this room, everyone is welcome, important, accepted, respected, encouraged, valued, and equal. This is an abomination onto this particular Idaho school board, apparently. This doesn't meet the policy. You can't, literally what they're saying is you can't tell the students in this room that they are welcome, important, accepted, respected, encouraged, valued, and equal. Which is another way of saying the students in this room are not all welcomed, important, accepted, respected, encouraged, valued, and equal. What does that say about the school board? It's pretty damning that this isn't a sign that is acceptable. Now, someone said, well, maybe it's because it's the colors of the rainbow. It is, but this is not seen as an LGBTQ plus rainbow. This is just happens to be the colors of a rainbow. And is it possible that it's the colors of a rainbow. So maybe they're going to stop teaching, maybe they're going to stop teaching the science of rainbows and how rainbows are created in the sky with water, as water vapor as light shines through water vapors. They're going to stop teaching Roy G. Biv, right? I don't know. The other sign, let me get the other sign. The other sign says, everyone is welcome here. Everyone is welcome here. Now, to Takara's point, there was a lot of brown hands there. All different colors, really. How about this? Instead of brown, there's a lot of non-pale hands in that sign. So maybe that's what it was, but that's not part of their policy. So even in this sign, everyone is welcomed here. It's a lovely message. It's an incredibly important message. It's a needed message. What this teacher is saying to the class, to her students, is I love you. I love you and you're precious. I love you, you're precious, you're important. You're welcomed, important, accepted, respected, encouraged, valued, and equal. In my eyes, you are all. I want to see you every day. I look forward to seeing you every day. I enjoy spending this time with you. You are worthy and you are valuable. That's a great message. Now, for what it's worth, I watched this on News 7 out of Idaho. And they reached out to the school board, and the school board's like, yeah, we got nothing. We have no desire to be interviewed about this, I think is what they said. We have no desire to be interviewed about this. But there's nothing in the policy that says those two signs are somehow damaging, that those two signs are somehow offensive. What they did say was to the teacher, we're trying to save you because it might offend somebody. And then because she asked, did somebody report this? Did somebody, no, nothing like that. But somebody might. So we're trying to save you from this. Now she went to the press with it. because she went to them. They gave her, I think they gave her until June. So she has to have those signs removed by the end of the school year, and then they can't go back up. And so she looked for clarification, and she couldn't find any clarification. Nobody would provide her clarification as to why those signs must come down. Nobody could provide her, and at the time of recording, nobody could provide her with a rationale. They couldn't tell her why these were bad. Like, even the idea, they said, well, it's because it's an opinion. It's an opinion, and you can't put your opinions up. One of the things that you're allowed to do is put up posters, for example, of your favorite sports team. Well, if I put up a big Boston Bruins poster, am I not sharing my opinion that the Bruins are the best? So anyhow, the idea that people should be welcome is, that's, it's central to Christian thought. We have a responsibility to provide hospitality, and you can't provide hospitality unless people are welcome. You can't. Like, what kind of host would you be if you didn't want the people there? You could still feed people, but you'd have a scowl on your face. You could still provide drink and shelter for people, but your heart would be pretty close to them. And that's not true hospitality. True hospitality is taking joy in providing for the people who visit, providing for the people who come by, providing for the people who seek shelter. It's true joy. That's like true charity. Isn't just a matter of, well, I'll give, but damn it, I don't want to give anymore. I've given to the point that it hurts. That's not true charity. True charity is when we say, I take great joy in providing for you. I take great joy in being willing to sacrifice for your betterment. I am blessed by offering this to you. I just kept coming, as I read the story, and as I watched her interview, and as I read these signs, and I thought about it, I just kept coming back to the church, and I kept coming back to people who would be offended by something like this. Well, not those people, right? Not those kids. Yes, everybody's welcomed, but not those ones, right? Not the kids that they're different. You know what I mean? They're just different. I don't mean any offense by it, but they have there's something different about them, and then they're not welcomed here. We got to protect our kids from those people. Or maybe it's not the kids, maybe it's the parents. Yes, we love their kid, but look at their parents. If they're here, they're going to give a bad example, because of their family situation. That's going to provide a bad example to the other students. Because of how their family is composed, other students are going to get the wrong idea that that's okay. I guess there's a ton of reasons why somebody might take offense to the idea that kids are welcomed and important and accepted and respected and included. I guess there are many reasons why somebody might want to tell the kids, you're not really welcomed here. It sort of reminds me of that fake Christian love. You know what I'm talking about, right? Oh, we love the sinner, we just hate the sin. Right? That fake Christian love that says something along the lines of, oh, everybody's welcomed here once you get your life squared away. Everybody's welcome here once you stop sinning. Everybody's welcome here once you're holy. Everybody's welcome here once you've done this or done that. That's not Jesus' way at all. But I can't stress this enough. Earlier we were talking about the screw tape letters, and we were talking about this now. We were talking about being progressive Christian. But I can't stress it enough. Everybody is welcome at the table. Everybody is invited Everybody is welcomed. Everybody is accepted. Everybody is respected at the table of Jesus Christ. Everybody. We don't come to Jesus because we're ready. We come to Jesus long before we're ready. We don't come to Jesus because we are holy. We come to Jesus long before we're ever holy and pious and wonderful and obedient. We don't come to Jesus once we've got everything in hand and once we've got everything under control. We come to Jesus when we are a sloppy mess. And we are welcomed, and we are invited, and we are accepted and respected and loved. That's how Jesus works. We are welcomed because of our brokenness. I mean, that's what Jesus literally says, right? I didn't come for that. I didn't come for the healthy. Healthy don't need a doctor. I came for the broken. I came for the people who are in need. I came for the people who are not welcomed anywhere. I came for the people who are not accepted, who are not respected. I came for the people who are not included. I came for the people who are ostracized and cast out. That sign to me, in a world, in a classroom, that sign to me is so much more powerful than the Ten Commandments, right? Than putting up a poster of the Ten Commandments, as some of these states are trying to do. They're trying to put posters up of the Ten Commandments or this or that or some other, right? A sign like that is much more Christian, much more Christ-like than any sign with the Ten Commandments could ever be. A sign like that is much more Christ-like. It is much more proselytizing for the Christian religion than the Ten Commandments. Because it says all are wanted. It says all are welcomed. It says all are equal. All are precious. All. So when we come to those words where let us create them in our image, that all are created in the image of God, that sign literally says, and that's why everybody's welcomed. That's why everybody is wanted here. That's why everybody is respected, accepted, and equal here. That sign is much more Christ-like than anything the state could have you put up for the Ten Commandments or even the Beatitudes. That sign is powerful. That sign proclaims the gospel of Jesus Christ in a wonderful way. That's how we're supposed to live. As Christians, that sign is indicative of how we're supposed to live. That sign expresses exactly our attitude, the attitude we're supposed to have to others, not just in this room, in this world. I congratulate the teacher. She put up a very loving sign. I have no idea what her faith is, and it doesn't matter. She put up a perfect sign for the students who are going to walk through her classroom doors, because none of them will ever wonder. None of them will ever wonder if they belong there. None of them will ever wonder if they're wanted there. None of them will ever wonder about her feelings towards them, regardless of who they are, regardless of who their parents are, regardless of where they come from, regardless of the language, their first language. They know by reading that sign that this is a place for them. And the students who leave there will take that message with them. The students who leave there will take that message with them out into the world. And it will literally be, if I can be accepted, respected, and equal in that place, welcomed and wanted in that place, loved in that place, I know how that feels. And so when I'm at home, that's the attitude I'm going to take to home. When I'm at basketball, that's the attitude I'm going to take into the gym. When I'm in church, that's the attitude I'm going to take into the church. I have nothing but praise for this teacher putting up the sign. I have nothing but praise for this teacher standing her ground. I pray she doesn't receive any negative consequences because she's stood her ground, because she's asked for clarification. I pray that God's presence is with her and God's protection is over her. But even if the worst should come, I'm incredibly grateful that her story, this incredibly loving story, is out there in the world for all of us to learn from, for all of us to emulate. In this room, everyone is welcome, important, accepted, respected, encouraged, valued, and equal. Everyone is welcome here. These signs need to stay up in her classroom. They need to go up in every classroom. And I would say they need to go up in every church. Amen.